Hi, welcome viewers. I'm Dr. Rajpal, and this video is a must watch video. This is a must watch video because it's a very thoughtful video and it caters to all your needs that you need to know about language learning. And when I say language learning, certainly my point of reference is to English communication. That is a second language for us, and the ways, the techniques, the methodology, the approach that we need to have in order to acquire this language has been very well explained in this video. So it's a must watch video for all of you. And in the very beginning, I would like to make a humble request to all of you that if you have not subscribed tech, kindly see the quality of this video, and if you are convinced that it's a platform worth promoting, then kindly subscribe the channel and share it, because all of us are in the noble cause of dissemination of knowledge. Okay, so let's start a discussion with communication skills in the case of second language acquisition, that is English. So this is the observation that the skills develop constantly. All these communication skills, be it in Hindi, be it in English, or be it in any language, the communication skills of an individual, they develop constantly. But the point is, if they are not guided, if it is not a conscious effort, then the speed becomes very low. So this development of communication skills is a natural phenomenon, as all of us are human beings. We live in a society, we interact, we talk, we listen, we speak, we write. So our communication skills develop, but the speed is low. So now the question comes, how can we accelerate or can enhance this speed? So the speed can be accelerated by enhancing the level of consciousness. The root word that is very seminal from the perspective of any sort of language, any sort of learning, be it learning of a language or a discipline, is consciousness. So as well disciplined individuals, as I should say sensible individuals, we must increase our level of consciousness. And if you increase your level of consciousness in terms of language learning, then your skills would develop at an accelerated speed. Be an avid listener and a reader before targeting speaking. This is a common mistake, and I would say this is a blunder that the language learners commit. They target speaking, and targeting speaking is a very fallacious approach, because the input skills of communication skill are listening and reading. Without effective and close reading, we cannot gain neither the vocabulary, nor the sentence structures, nor the content. Therefore, the possibilities of speaking and writing, they are very minimal. So these skills cannot be learnt in isolation, or all these four skills, and therefore pay equal heed to the following. These are listening, reading, writing, and speaking. You cannot target one particular skill, one particular communication skill at one time, and therefore neither of these skills can be learned or taught in isolation. They go together, and this going together of all the four skills should be a conscious, consistent, and committed exercise if you want to learn a language effectively and in a very short span of time. Next, fallacies. There are certain fallacies about English communication, and some of the fallacies which are about second language acquisition, that is English, I would like to share some of you with you. First fallacy, first misconception about communication skills is a rich vocabulary is required. This is a faulty perspective, because vocabulary is to decorate a language. It is used for the embellishment of language. It is not the prerequisite to have a bombastic or say a very robust vocabulary. One can communicate with a simple vocabulary, and that much simple vocabulary, I think all of us who are engaged in conversations, in communications, in dialogues in English, that much of vocabulary I think everybody has. And one more thing I would like to share with you right now, that most of you have this observation about yourself as a communicator, that you can understand what the person is speaking or what the person is saying, but you cannot speak English. You understand English and you cannot speak English. This is the most wide separate disease or linguistic disease that most of us suffer from. So if vocabulary would have been a problem, certainly we would have not been able to understand what the person was saying. It was only because of this much of uh, dexterity, this much of skill, this much of linguistic competence that we could understand the speaker. Grammatical accuracy is aimed at. So initially, when you start speaking or start writing, uh, grammatical accuracy may be partially ignored. It cannot be ignored, but it can be partially ignored because learning is an evolutionary exercise. So if you focus on grammatical accuracy, that way language learning would become a self-defeating enterprise. Self-defeating enterprise in the sense that it will frustrate you, and that frustration will not allow you to move ahead. Fluency is also aimed at in the beginning. That's a false approach. You should not aim at fluency in the beginning. With passage of time, with your uh, with your increased linguistic competence, the fluency is bound to happen. Focus on pronunciation. Initially, you should not focus on pronunciation because the native dialect does has an impact, and you cannot overcome that initially. So as I have mentioned that it's an evolutionary exercise. So at one time you focus at sentence structures, at one time you focus at your grammar, and even in grammar go for selective improvements. You identify one area that first of all I have to work upon pronunciation. So if you are working on pronunciation, then work for some time on pronunciation, and then when you feel that I have worked too much on pronunciation and it frustrates me now, so then you go for punctuations, or you go for prepositions, or you go for articles, or you go for tenses. There are, primarily speaking, in speaking and in writing, we have limited topics of grammar. For example, tense, for example, articles, for example, prepositions, for example, active voice, passive voice, narration. So these are some of the grammatical areas or grammatical topics which we need to focus. So our problem is we focus on all those mistakes at one go, and then we become frustrated, and then that inferiority complex doesn't allow us, and we go for the judgment, the self judgment, that is, and the verdict comes in and the verdict is against us. So that discourages us to learn this language. So consciousness of being non-native speaker, this is also one of the fallacies, that we are not the native speakers of English and therefore we cannot speak it. But I repeatedly make a statement in this regard that if this would have been the case, then certainly English would have not been a global language. It would have restricted itself to its place of origin. And then we suffer from false post-colonial approach, that colonial hangover, that the Britishers uh, did these number of wrongs to us, and why then we speak their language. So here we can use this concept of Calibanistic use of language, uh, as the Caliban retreats back to the British officer and he abuses him in English. So that abuse would have not been effective if Caliban would have not abused him in English. If Caliban would have abused him in the native African languages, then the intention behind abusing him would have not been conveyed to the British officer. So it's a global language, and it's the language of trade, it's the language of internet. So English being the language of globe and English being the language of trade and internet, we must be uh, equally competent in English, along with being competent in our native languages, or Hindi, or any other regional language that we have lived from our childhood. Common prescriptions. Now I come to the common prescriptions which are given to the language learners. Read newspaper, but hardly there is a guidance that how one should read the newspaper. But if you see the videos of tech, so till now the maximum videos are on newspaper on various topics, and the way we have been doing the close reading along with the vocabulary section, and apart from that we have been paying focus on word combinations and sentence structures. So you can watch our previous videos also, and enhance your vocabulary. This is a common prescription, but people don't have creative ways to enhance your vocabulary, and the creative ways to enhance your vocabulary I would be sharing with you in the next slides. But don't cram anything, just read and listen. Whatever comes your way, you just try to learn that, and whatever you learn, try to practice that in your own writing and on speaking. Work on grammar. This is also one of the common prescriptions given to language learners or language aspirants. Watch English movies. Personally speaking, I have never seen any English movie, neither I intend to, and I think I can communicate in a uh, proper way. Right approach. This is, I should say, the slide on which you must pay your 100%. Be a conscious listener. Whenever you listen, try to concentrate on what the speaker is saying. Be a conscious listener. Be an avid reader. You should be always thirsty in terms of reading. And the point is, uh, because of this ongoing slot of videos and all that, readership is on the declining mode, and that's a literally a concern of the academicians. And I also do share that concern, that fine enough that digitalization has democratized education to a larger extent, so we must be benefited out of it, we must make the most of it, we must be techno savvy, but at the same time we should not put reading in the uh, we should not ignore reading completely. Aim at enhancing the storehouse of language structures. This is the point that needs some sort of elaboration, I think. And storehouse of language structures. See, we have different sentences. When we read something, for example, we are reading a book. So in the book, the chapter begins, and the writer introduces a particular point. So how does the writer introduces that? What kind of sentence structures are being used? Then the paragraph changes, and something that is being said in the first paragraph is taken further in the second paragraph. So what kind of sentences, what kind of words are being used in order to trace that continuance of an idea? Okay. Similarly, we read articles, various articles in the newspaper. So how the writers write those articles, just try to focus on that structure. And for example, uh, if a paragraph changes, how the in furtherance of this idea or this follows, there you would come to know various techniques of writing and speaking effectively. So enhance your storehouse of language structures instead of working only on vocabulary, because learning words will not ultimately help you that much. It is the sentence structures that will help you. Remember that grammar is a censoring agency, not a unit of production. So in the previous video, I made a mention that one of the common prescriptions is work on grammar. So grammar cannot produce language. It can check it, whether the language used is correct or not. That is the role of grammar. It's a censoring agency. It censors whether the sentence written or spoken is correct or not. That's the purpose of grammar. So that much of focus should not be given on grammar, because there are good grammarians, they are good great grammarians, but at the end of the day they are not good communicators. So standardized vocabulary is to beautify language, not to create it. So one of the common prescriptions that we have discussed in the previous slide was work on vocabulary. So vocabulary is to beautify language, not to create it. So you must pay heed, you must pay focus to vocabulary only once you are in the stage of beautifying your language. Next, TZ Grammar, a powerful tool. This is the slide that needs equal attention, and this is the slide that should be your roadmap for, say, next 6 months if you want to learn English. It stands for transformative generative grammar. So the very nature of transformation is generative in itself. When we transform anything, it generates something new. So it stands, TZ grammar stands for transformative generative grammar. It enhances the language structures rapidly. So in the previous video, I was talking about enhancing your word house or your language structures. So through TZ grammar, we can achieve that. Pick a sentence structure and create some more sentences of your own based on it. This is the practical aspect of communication. This is the practical aspect of language learning, that when you take up one sentence structure, you should create at least 5 sentences on the same sentence structures with the sentences which are of your immediate concern, which are of your immediate need. Because once your needs would meet, you would feel motivated and you would do it. Maintain a notebook in which you can enter sentence structures regularly. Leave lines for at least 5 sentences after each sentence structure. Fill the lines by constructing sentences based on it, but mind it, you should not do it in one go. The point of not doing it in one go is to, if you keep revisiting that sentence structure, and if you keep reconstructing, if you keep transforming that sentence structure into your own sentences, then that sentence structure would become a part of your conscious mind, and that way you would be able to use the sentence structure very effectively. Target 50 to 60 sentence structures in a month, and if you do it for say 6 months, as I have already pointed it out, then you see how many sentence structures you would have. It is all about being consistent in your efforts. It's all about being committed to your cause. Two words of great importance: contextualization. Use the sentence structures in your own immediate context. This will satisfy your utilitarian needs. I have already shared it, that once you feel that I watched that particular video, I read that particular article, and from that article, I have taken up to these 5 sentence structures, or these 5 words, or this one idea. So that goes in making of your intellectual being, and this making, this shaping of you as an intellectual is an evolutionary process. It's a steady process. Therefore, one should stick to these approaches. Otherwise, too, there is no dearth of content. Maybe not out of choice, but every teacher, every facilitator, every knowledgeable person is just sharing his or her knowledge through all these platforms like YouTube and all that. So there is no dearth of content right now. Gone are the days when there was a dearth of content. Now there is no dearth of content. Now the needed thing is your commitment. So content is very much there, but commitment needs to be there. Motivation, it can move the mountains, but It comes from within. After initial outcome, therefore, set small targets and toil hard to achieve them so that you do not become victim of the fear of failure. In order to be motivated, you just set up small targets, that today I will read a newspaper or an article. From that article I will take only 2 sentence structures, I will take only 5 words. Maybe I will not be able to understand the article well, or maybe that there are 20 words in the article that I don't know the meaning of them. Don't worry, just to take 5 words, 5 easiest words, and next day 5 words. So that way you make it a slow and steady race, so that you can turn out to be a tortoise, not a rabbit. So with these words, I thank you all for watching this video. I hope that you must have watched this video completely. And in case you feel like having some questions, you can write down your questions in the comment box. If you like the video, like it. If you have not subscribed the channel, kindly do subscribe it. And if you find this platform worth sharing, you must share it. And please do write your feedback as as an active learner. Thank you.